There are certainly not enough projects in our communities at this stage. I mean, we were the early adopters of solar with the Bushlight program among many of our remote communities in WA and the NT. But we're not seeing enough involvement in medium to large scale enterprises. Certainly the large scale export projects at the moment, there's a handful being proposed, and there's really only one of those that's jointly being done with an Aboriginal community. But what we're hoping to see by developing the network is that those companies and businesses get on board and actually do role model best practice and what it could really look like to make sure that benefits are shared by all, and certainly by our communities who are going to be, where those proposals are developed.
How many small-scale projects would there be?
So it would be hard to actually give a number, and this is one of the reasons why we're developing the network, because we need to see more evidence and analysis about how many of our households actually have solar. We certainly know 1 in 4 Australians, there's a great uptake of solar in this country, but we can't tell you how many of those are our communities or people living in public housing. So we want to make sure that actually the uptake by our communities is higher, that we deal with the policy barriers, the technical barriers and the financial barriers in the way of making sure that all of our households can actually have solar.
Is this also driven by energy poverty and the need for cheap renewable power in communities?
Absolutely. All of our communities and everybody should have energy security, which is being able to meet your basic energy needs. And what we're seeing with rising temperatures is that people aren't able to cool and heat their homes, that food can go off, medicines can't be maintained, medical life support equipment can be disconnected. That's something that shouldn't be happening to our communities in this day and age. So we want to make sure that there's clean, affordable power available for all.
So the lack of power, and as you said, the inability to cool houses, and in remote communities, very substandard housing that isn't regularly maintained by authorities, so that is worsening people's health.
Absolutely. If you can't keep your house cool or warm, sometimes we're hearing stories where people are choosing to cool one room and then taking in turns and sleeping in that room that's cool enough. It's already 45 degrees out here. In Tennant Creek the other day, it was 46 degrees. It means it's going to be really difficult for people to have a strong, healthy lifestyle if they can't stay in their homes, can't stay on country because it's simply too expensive. And it's, often dirty diesel as well to maintain homes.
Now, what's the business potential? Because theoretically, there's huge potential for solar power, especially in the outback.
Absolutely, and this is a very exciting development for our mob, that we can actually see some of these projects driven by First Nations businesses, that there can be local jobs, for everyone. But we are certainly modelling this off of the Indigenous clean energy in Canada, where they've seen over 200 medium to large scale projects, all Indigenous owned. They've got 2,000 to 3,000 small scale projects that have been developed, and a projection of $1.5 billion that will be Indigenous employment contracts over the next decade. So we believe that we could see that here, but what we need is industry and government to get on board and make sure that these projects are really being done the right way and driven by our communities.